guys, this is Paul with TweakTown. We're continuing our coverage here at Storage Visions 2014. Right now we're sitting down with Vaughn Stewart. He is the chief evangelist at Pure Storage, and he knows a lot about flash storage, of course. And today we're here to pick their brain a little bit about their all flash array offerings. Right now you guys already provide some pretty big capacity in your arrays, but you're looking to expand upon that amount of capacity that you're offering your customers in the near future. Can you give us some words on where we're headed with how much capacity we can get in one of your devices?
Sure, absolutely. Well, before we jump into this, first I want to thank you for having us on, allowing us the opportunity to stop by the booth and have this chat. We're here at Storage Visions 2014, and this is kind of like the conference of the technology that exists underneath the storage platforms that you see in the market today, and show some insight, provide some insight, I should say, to what you should expect to see in the future. So, the flash array is doing fantastic in terms of the growth. We're way ahead of schedule. I can't share with you any other details because obviously we're a private company, but one of our recent announcements with the release of the Purity Operating Environment 3.3 was the expanded capacity, raw capacity of up to now 35 terabytes.
So 35 terabytes of data storage in a very small package. One differentiator from Pure Storage that you guys offer your customers is your deduplication technologies. You have a lot of core IP involved in that in your own proprietary approach. Can you give us a little words on the amount of capacity gains that we can expect in a typical deployment?
Absolutely. Well, as probably most of you would think, 35 terabytes isn't a tremendous amount of storage.
Absolutely.
And our vision that we are delivering on is to reduce the cost of flash and allow flash to move from the very high-priced Tier 0 market down to the massive Tier 1 market. And the way that we've looked at cracking that nut or solving it instead of waiting for the economics of production rates of NAND technology to come down is to accelerate that by having a large number of storage reduction technologies available in the box. And so what I mean by that is specifically is we provide inline data deduplication, compression, pattern removal, and zero removal. We also have some post-process deep data reduction capabilities that actually looks at data that's been resident on the box, that's a little bit older, and we actually compress it to a greater rate. And so the end result of this is that across all types of workloads, spanning applications like databases that benefit well from compression, to workloads that leverage lots of clones or replicas such as SAP or Q&A test and dev, or more commonly the environments that leverage both, like virtual infrastructures, right? I've got virtual machines that are highly dedupable, that store applications that are highly compressible. Across that entire install base, we are averaging 6-to-1 data reduction, and we share that information online on our dedupe ticker right on purestorage.com.
Yes, and that's very interesting. A lot of times when people speak about dedupe, it can almost be smoke and mirrors.
Right.
People don't really actually provide hard numbers, or they'll give you ballpark figures. You guys actually provide real-time results from your customers who participate in that plan and show the actual results in real time. So it's not really smoke and mirrors as much as it's a real thing.
Well, I think data reduction technologies are well understood by all, and I'm not trying to state that they're complex. Actually, I just published a number of blog articles on my blog discussing some of these. My blog's virtualstorageguy.com. Sorry for the shameless plug, but if you'd like to read more, it's available online. So if you look at kind of the three most common technologies that most recognized: deduplication, compression, and thin provisioning.
Yep.
Well, deduplication and compression are data reduction technologies. They actually reduce the amount of capacity that's being consumed on your device.
Yep.
Both work differently. Dedupe eliminates redundant data at the block level. Compression eliminates reduction inside of the byte level and actually allows you to store more data per byte. Those two technologies are analogous in some ways at a very high level, but they're very different than thin provisioning. Thin provisioning is this provisioning mechanism that says, I won't charge you for any unused space.
Yeah.
I'll just let you consume on demand. And what's interesting is you can tweak the knob on a thin provisioning element, make a 2 terabyte LUN and your storage savings are 10-to-1. Make that LUN 200 terabytes and now your storage savings are 400-to-1. This is a little bit of gamesmanship around thin provisioning, so we tend to not promote thin provisioning, though we do report it as a second horizontal line in the dedupe tracker.
Because a big part of the move into making these types of all-flash arrays more of a mainstream offering is support for all kinds of functionalities that you would expect from a normal disk-based storage system. So I understand that you guys are already also are working on more expanded features like replication. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, so today we offer a number of enterprise, what I would call the expected set of data management features for the enterprise. Snapshots, cloning, most of these are instantaneous, they're zero cost. We have replication that's coming in Purity Operating Environment version 4, which is scheduled for the end of the first quarter of this year. And actually our beta program is going to launch sometime this month. We're probably a couple weeks away.
So offering all of that to your customers and really managing that internally is going to make this fairly easy to deploy, correct?
Yeah, and I think maybe the key to looking at some of these feature sets is first and foremost snapshots and clones. These are core elements that customers have adopted in part of their business processes.
Absolutely.
As well as replication, right? It's part of your DR strategy. And so having DR in the array is probably the #1 outstanding storage management feature that we're missing.
Yep.
But I would say that by and large, it's absent across the bulk of the all-flash array market. Our replication will be deduped, compressed, and encrypted, just like the data is stored on flash in the storage device itself.
Excellent.
So very bandwidth friendly. It's going to be very low overhead. And obviously, depending on the rate of change, we expect the majority of our customers should be able to do asymmetrical updates on a 5-minute interval.
Well, that's excellent. Another big feature that a lot of people are looking for in the enterprise space is high availability.
Right.
We don't want any downtime. So what would happen if there was a theoretical failure, or maybe I want to expand capacity? Do you have to take the device down in order to do that, or?
Great question. We designed this construct of non-disruptive operations from the ground up. And what I mean by that specifically is, look, many of us, many who are watching this video, have experience with an active-active array controller.
Yes.
And you run some active-active array controllers providing you tens of thousands of IOPS, 10, 20, 30, whatever it may be. We've all experienced either a failure or had to do some planned downtime to do some maintenance.
Absolutely.
And performance suffers. And it's only when that performance suffers and the application owners and their end users start calling the help desk does the whole IT department know that something's going on with the storage array. When you shift from disk to flash and you move to hundreds of thousands of IOPS per second,
Absolutely.
right? And the current flash array provides up to 400,000 IOPS. When you're in the hundreds of thousands of IOPS range, you can't have a performance cut in half. That would be detrimental to a business.
Absolutely.
So from the ground up, we design non-disruptive operations, meaning for both planned and unplanned downtime, you will never drop in performance. So the flash array is high available by design, but if I want to do a software upgrade, a hardware expansion, a hardware module change, or even upgrade the controller heads from the previous generation to the current, or from the current to the future, it's all non-disruptive.
And that's excellent, because the future is where we are headed. And it's fair to say that Pure Storage has a fairly close relationship with Samsung. You guys also
Absolutely.
use their products in your storage arrays. And that, of course, brings us to the future of NAND. It's 3D NAND. We see Samsung's making a lot of noise in that area, a lot of excitement about 3D NAND.
Right.
Do you foresee Pure Storage moving to their 3D NAND products in the future?
So Samsung, we have a very close relationship with Samsung. They are an investor in Pure Storage. Today we are shipping all Samsung solid-state devices. And in terms of what we've built in the flash array, specifically around flash care, is a flash management layer that allows us to address multiple forms of flash NAND technology. And so we've obviously looked at 3D NAND, and I'm not sitting or speaking for any form of future, but should we decide to ship with 3D NAND, I wouldn't be surprised, just to set the bar. I think maybe a better way to look at it is flash provides such a business value gain in terms of performance today, but that performance is, that same level of gain and advantage is also seen in terms of footprint reduction and reduction in power and cooling, that there's just this massive amount of investments industry-wide being made in driving flash further into the data center. So flash used to address tier 0, today it's addressing tier 1. We're going to be able to, as a market, be able to address more applications as the cost comes down. The cost will come down through technologies like increasing density. 3D NAND is one way to do this. Driving more flash into the current footprints of the devices will be another means of reducing costs. So again, I think the future is clear that specifically in the performance segment of storage today, and for the foreseeable future, the 10K and 15K disk drives will be weeded out, and companies like Pure Storage and advancements like 3D NAND will help drive that.
Excellent. There is a bright, exciting future for the storage industry as a whole around flash, and Pure Storage is one of the companies leading the way into this new deployment model. We appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by the booth.
Paul, thanks for having us.
Yep.
Cheers.